The Alchemist. Imagine if your whole life were nothing more than a giant map, but you, lost in your own thoughts, let slip the great treasure buried right beneath your feet. Have you ever felt an uncontrollable urge to drop everything? Your job, your routine, your family's expectations, just because a strange dream kept calling you into the unknown? What if I told you that The Alchemist, by Paulo Coelho, is not just a self-help book or an inspiring allegory, but is intrinsically a true manual of myths, of depth psychology, of the laws that guide the entire human unconscious on its personal journey? Santiago is not just a shepherd. He is the part of you that secretly knows there is something bigger waiting. The boy who listens to dreams, reads omens, challenges conventional wisdom, but also fears losing everything along the way. Jung would call this force the call to individuation, the radical adventure of leaving behind what is safe in the name of one's own inner truth, even when no one around you understands, believes, or supports you. And the best part, maybe the universe really has been conspiring all along to help you discover who you truly are, even if it means crossing deserts, losing all your money, questioning every certainty, and facing dangers that no one will ever validate. In this video, you will delve into the deepest layers of The Alchemist. What are the dreams that haunt you? What forces are preventing you from moving forward? How does the symbol of inner gold appear in your own challenges? And, most frighteningly, how would you know when the treasure was there all along, where you least wanted to look? Get ready. The journey that begins now promises no easy shortcuts, only sharp questions and insights that can become your compass. As the book says, when you desire something, the universe conspires to help you achieve it. But only those who dare to leave the flock discover how many voices, enemies, and miracles they will face in order to finally return home transformed. Stay with me, because in the next parts, we're going to decipher the invisible codes that connect myth, depth psychology, and the next step in your own destiny. The call of the dream and the personal legend. Waking up to the impossible. Do you remember your first impossible dream? To be a superhero, to fly, to have the ability to do magic? The one that seemed too crazy to be mentioned over breakfast, but which throbbed inside like a secret truth, just waiting for a sign to show that it has a reason to exist. Santiago, the shepherd boy, sleeps next to the sheep, but he wakes up night after night with the same dream. A child points to the pyramids of Egypt and whispers that his treasure is there. What if you experienced such a strong sense of déjà vu that you began to doubt your own sanity? He tries to forget. He walks, he herds, he repeats his humble life, but the call is insistent. A mysterious old man appears, Melchizedek, a king, but also an archetypal mentor who offers a stone and a choice: follow comfort, or venture forth in search of one's personal legend. Here Jung appears again. Melchizedek embodies the archetype of the wise old man, the master guide of the unconscious, who only appears to those who dare to ask, who hasn't crossed paths with an unexpected bee. Mentor, what advice changed their destiny? Let us know in the comments. How many times have you disguised the call to avoid dealing with uncertainty? With each page, Santiago realizes nothing is accidental. The lost money, the encounters, the omens, it's all part of the sacred cycle of myths, the beginning of the Jungian hero's journey, and the temptation to give up never goes away. Perhaps it's all just an illusion. Perhaps the treasure is a lie, perhaps. But what if all fear only existed to test your courage to go further? Continue, because in the next part, Santiago learns, and you do too, that only those who lose everything are worthy of discovering the world's most valuable secret. When everything goes wrong, the price of searching right at the start of his journey, Santiago leaves behind the comfort of his flocks and family, armed only with his dreams, a few coins, and the promise of treasure. But like every true adventure and every psychological transformation, the path doesn't yield easy results. In Tangier, he is robbed. He loses everything. He is alone, penniless, friendless, and speechless. The dream, which had barely begun, seems like a cruel joke. Who hasn't had the feeling that the universe gave up right after you threw yourself into what you most desired? Here arises the first great test of the soul: to give up and return, becoming eternally regretful, or to trust that even loss carries a hidden meaning. Jungian psychology calls this stage the encounter with the shadow. It's when illusions crumble, masks fall, and wounds come to the surface. The shadow, an archetype of our greatest fears and weaknesses, does not appear to defeat us, but to reveal hidden strength, humility, and resilience. Santiago learns through pain. He accepts humble jobs, observes, and listens to silences. The world, which seemed hostile, reveals camouflaged masters: the crystal merchant, the other desert wanderers. What loss has become a turning point in your life? Did you learn something new about yourself at the end of a major disappointment? Share. Who was your first crystal merchant? The dream of gold is transformed. Now it's not just the treasure that matters, but every journey, every chain broken. According to Jung, the hero initiates the process of individuation, becoming whole, discovering that the true treasure is always, in some way, internal. But how do you recognize the signs amidst the chaos? How can you tell if fate is testing you or simply abandoning you? The desert, territory of emptiness and abode of signs. Imagine yourself crossing a real desert. There are no trees to map, no ancient trails. Everything is horizon. Santiago, who once saw his life on well-marked paths, now needs to rely on something far more dangerous and mysterious: his own instinct and intuition. In the desert, silence reigns. It is a silence that does not silence. It amplifies. The wind carries questions that would never be heard amidst the bustle of cities, pastures, and plans. This silence is psychological. It is simultaneously a threat and an invitation. When was the last time you were alone enough to listen to a thought you would never say in public, or a fear you never let surface? The caravan guide tells Santiago, in the desert, everything is examined. Only the essential remains. The superfluous dissolves in the sand. Here, the journey becomes a perfect metaphor for the Jungian individuation process. It is necessary to pierce through layers of oneself to separate the gold from the dust, true desire from shallow fantasy, the inner voice from the external noise. The desert and the archetype of the test. Jung describes the desert as a symbol of the sacred space, where the ego is subjected to the trials of the soul. In the biblical desert, heroes face temptations. In The Alchemist, Santiago confronts emptiness, fear, doubt, and the desire to give up. Here, time changes. Days are eternities, nights, horizons. Everything that was safe crumbles. Santiago lay at night, gazing at distant stars, suffering from insomnia and restlessness. The sound of war drums, the fear of death on the invisible border between the crossing and the oasis, contemplating quicksand, which swallows those who doubt themselves. The smell of fire and tea where some open up and others hide. In your personal desert, ruptures, changes, crises, what have you seen evaporate and what has emerged strong? Share. What was your most transformative silence? The journey culminates in the entrance of the alchemist, archetype of the self, which Jung defined as the organizing core of the deep, the higher self. The alchemist doesn't promise miracles. It only teaches how to observe. It demands that Santiago confront his own fear, to literally transform himself, to take risks, to be extremely vulnerable. When you try to be better than you are, everything around you also improves. But for that to happen, fear must die, and the old self must be sacrificed. The alchemist shows Santiago that, to truly cross the desert of the soul, one must understand the language of signs, the flight of falcons, a grain of sand, the gaze of a beloved woman. Everything speaks. Jung would call it synchronicity, seemingly random events but laden with profound meaning for those who are paying attention. Have you ever felt that the universe spoke to you, in a phrase from a stranger, in a song playing out of nowhere, in a recurring dream? This could be the call to your own journey. The desert is not just an obstacle. It is an oven, a laboratory, an alchemist's crucible, where everything that is not essential is consumed. Santiago fears death. He is afraid of the warriors, the invaders, the decisions that could mean he will never return. However, only by accepting the risk is he initiated into the transformative secret of the book. The gold of the universe can only be attained by those who accept to fall and rise again. The alchemist says, death is just a path between worlds, a step towards finally becoming who you always were. Individuation requires ruptures, not confirmations. Santiago's lesson is brutal. Only those who accept losing everything can be reborn as new gold. Did you have the courage to die to an old version of yourself? To trade certainties for doubts, security for freedom, comfort for authenticity? Tell us, what was the most alchemical moment of your personal desert experience? The synchronicities of the desert. The video progresses with sensory accounts, the flight of falcons, an omen of battle, a symbol of vision and courage, oasis of love, an encounter with Fatima, learning about loving without possessing, about surrendering with detachment, the desert wind, instructions for transforming the body into energy, transcending physical and emotional limitations. In your desert experience, what was the omen? That sign that no one else saw but you knew was a message from destiny itself? In the desert, Santiago learns every law of the universe. He listens to how everything speaks, learns to dialogue with the soul of the world, and realizes that everything exists to teach, transform, and reveal his personal legend. For Jung and Coelho, the gold of alchemy is integration, to become whole, to align desire, dream, and reality. You don't leave the desert with the same look you had before. Now everything is a potential miracle, a journey, a sign, an opportunity. But what if, after crossing the entire desert, you discover that the treasure you were looking for, or that everyone is looking for, was buried at home, at your starting point, invisible throughout the entire journey? Keep listening. Are you with me? Continue. Because in the next part, Santiago meets his final destiny and reveals the greatest secret of alchemy. Anyone who crosses, loses, loves, hopes, faces the desert, discovers gold where they least expected it, within their own heart. We will reach the climax of the journey, and the great secret of the alchemist in the light of depth psychology, the end of the search, the gold and the circle back home. After facing all the trials of the desert, fear, loss, unreliable love, the master, and his own shadow, Santiago finally arrives at the pyramids of Egypt. It's the place you've dreamt of, the destination of your personal legend. But as with any true journey, nothing will be as it seems. There, faced with the promise of gold, he finds no treasure. He is robbed again, assaulted, humiliated. It's a brutal cycle. Everything you sought dissolves into dust. The hero finally finds himself on his knees, in a foreign place, with nothing. Is there a more brutal feeling than reaching the end of a long quest and realizing that perhaps it was all an illusion? Or could it be? The heist is violent but also revealing. While talking to one of the thieves, Santiago hears a story similar to his own. Another dream, another omen. The thief laughs. If I were foolish enough to cross the desert for a dream, I would seek my gold in the most unlikely place, precisely where you began. This is where the Jungian individuation click happens. The hero's narrative takes on its deepest meaning. Those who search outside must ultimately return to themselves and integrate all that they have found on their journey. How many times have you only recognized the value of something when it was already too far away? Have you ever searched for an answer outside yourself, only to find it discreetly waiting at home, inside you? Return is revolution. Returning to Spain is not regression, it's rebirth. Santiago digs where his body fell on the first night of the book, even before the search begins. There, beneath the ancient fig tree, lies the true treasure, hidden in plain sight, impossible to perceive without crossing the path. Gold is no longer just wealth, it's a symbol of knowing oneself to be whole, worthy of beginning and finishing any journey. Jung teaches, the true myth is circular. The exit only exists so that one can turn inward with a different awareness, a different perspective, a different soul. Would you have embarked on this journey if you knew that the most precious thing would be waiting right where you started? Or do you need the whole adventure, the losses and gains, to finally see what has always been a secret? Upon his return, Santiago is already multifaceted. He is a shepherd, a lover, a sage, a warrior, a learner, and an alchemist of himself. For Jung, the self is this point of synthesis, the treasure of the unconscious, the jewel that can be discovered by those who endure all trials, accept all paradoxes, and integrate shadow and light. The cycle doesn't end with gold. It ends when you realize you can start all over again, stronger, clearer, more compassionate, ready even to show other travelers the map of the inner road. What was the invisible treasure that only you saw upon returning from a long journey? Comment. What sign, pain, encounter, or dream seemed like punishment, but later revealed the secret of your own alchemy? Santiago's journey doesn't end. It is renewed within each reader, viewer, dreamer. When this video reading is finished, the question that remains is, what's the next dream that will pull you out of your comfort zone? And what desert are you ready to cross to find yourself whole on the other side? Life isn't just about searching for treasures. It's about learning that we are all potential alchemists. And you, have you allowed yourself to transform your own lead into gold? The true gold, a beginning without end. The desert is behind him. The pyramids are now just a point of passage. Santiago returns transformed. But it is not the gold in his hands that defines who he has become. It is his reborn gaze, his lucid presence, the humble certainty that every external quest is, at its core, an invitation to inner exploration. The myth of the alchemist, like all great stories, is not confined to just the character. It transcends generations, formats, and languages, and settles within every viewer who dares to dream and seek, even without knowing where the journey will lead. And you, where is your treasure hidden? As a great master once said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. What journey calls to you now? Be it a choice, a new beginning, a reconciliation, a risk, a trip, a project? What do you need to let go of to allow yourself to be new or whole for the first time? Jung teaches that individuation is the process of becoming what one is, of realizing one's own myth, one's own destiny. Paulo Coelho echoes this sentiment. The world is merely a reflection of your deepest dreams. Santiago is you, searching for the invisible gold that only the courage to lose allows you to rediscover. True alchemy never ends. With each cycle, you can start over, seek out other pyramids, discover omens, and challenge your own limits. If this story resonated with you, share your biggest challenge or unseen treasure in the comments. What dream still beats, even if no one believes in it? What pain turned into alchemical learning? Who was your alchemist, your mentor, or your harbinger of help? Tag someone who needs to hear that gold may be closer than it seems. Sign up so you don't miss the next mythical journeys. Here, every week, you're invited to rewrite your own script for seeking and transforming. Alchemy is a collective endeavor. Only those who help another traveler find the treasure ultimately discover the greatest secret. No one returns the same from a real journey. And you? Are you ready for the next one? Until the next episode. And remember, perhaps the real gold is buried in the story you haven't yet told, not even to yourself.